Hello, my dear curious and studious students of surgery. Myself, Dr. Mahesh Chaudhary. I am warm welcoming you in my surgery lecture series. This surgery lecture series contains entire surgery with anesthesia, with radiology, with orthopedic. So stay tuned with us. Let's start our surgery lecture series. Warm welcome, dear students, in my surgery lecture number 27. That is the vermiform appendix. In this lecture, we will cover the anatomy and physiology of the appendix, congenital abnormalities of the appendix, appendicitis, etiology and pathogenesis, and neoplasms of the appendix with surgery of the appendix. Let's start learning with me the vermiform appendix. First, we will see the anatomy. Embryologically, the appendix is a continuation of the cecum from its inferior tip, and the appendix is shaped like an inverted pyramid. The cecum is bilaterally sacculated in early childhood, with the appendix still at the inferior tip. Further growth of the cecum is unequal. Rapid growth of the right side and anterior aspects of the cecum rotate the appendix to its adult position on the posteromedial aspect below the ileocecal wall. As the appendix varies considerably in length, the relation of the base of the appendix to the cecum is essentially constant. The base of the appendix can be marked on the surface as the McBurney's point, which is situated at the junction of the lateral 1/3 and the medial 2/3 of the line joining the anterior superior iliac spine and the umbilicus. McBurney's point is the classical site of tenderness in appendicitis. The vermiform appendix is present only in human beings and certain anthropoid apes. Presence of lymphoid tissues in the wall of the appendix is characteristic of human vermiform appendix. Now the structure of the appendix from without inwards. The structure of the appendix is as follows: a serous coat composed of the peritoneal coat. Muscle coat consists of outer longitudinal muscles and inner circular muscles as seen in case of small intestine. The longitudinal muscle is formed by the coalescence of the three tinea coli at the junction of the cecum and appendix. The anterior tinea may be used as a guide to locate the elusive appendix. Students, here is the image you can see on your screen. There is a IC junction and appendix as a tail of the cecum, large intestine. You can clearly see the anatomy. Now this is the another animated image where is showing the normal position of the appendix, which is the retrocecal 64%, posteroileal is 0.5%, preileal 1%, pelvic 32% and subcecal is 2%. This is the blood supply of the appendix, mesoappendix, IC junction is clearly seen. This is the surgery of the appendix, appendicectomy. The inflamed appendix is clearly seen on the screen, on the image, and this is the cause of the appendicitis. Fecalith is there, the lumen is obstructed, narrowed, and inflammation of the terminal appendix is seen. And third coat is the submucosa. The submucous coat of the appendix is very rich in lymphoid tissue. It contains lymphoid follicle, which is known as the abdominal tonsil. The lymphoid tissue is there. They act as the second line of the infection. That's why this appendix is also called as the abdominal tonsil. And fourth coat is the mucous coat. Now the blood supply of the appendix is supplied by the appendicular artery, and appendicular artery is the branch of the lower division of the ileocolic artery. Now the various anatomical positions of the appendix are as we see in the animated images. First is the retrocecal position, which is commonest position and 70% contribute, lies behind the cecum. Pelvic position, this is the second most common position, contribute 25%. Tip lies near the beam of the pelvis. Subcecal, that is the 2%. Splenic 1%. Tip towards the spleen. Paracecal contribute only 1%, and paracolic contribute only 1% side of the ascending colon on right side. And there is another anatomical position is also the good morning appendix, means the way the surgeon opens the appendix and clear cut vision of the inflamed appendix is seen, that is called as the good morning appendix. Now the functions of the appendix is not a vestigial organ, and it does play a useful role in the defense mechanism of the body. The lymphoid follicle present in the appendix acts for maturation of the B lymphocytes. The appendix participates in the secretory immune mechanism in the gut and form globulin from immune mechanism. Now the next point is the congenital abnormalities of the appendix. There are quite rare chances of these congenital abnormalities of the appendix. First is the agenesis due to absent and sloughing. Duplication, double appendix is there. Diverticuli rarely seen. Right side appendix in situs inversus. Viscerum transposition of the thoracic and abdominal viscera. Dear students, Here is the images of the congenital abnormality of the appendix. There is a bifurcation, duplex of the appendix. Now the appendicitis. There are 4 types of the appendicitis are acute appendicitis, subacute appendicitis, recurrent appendicitis and chronic appendicitis. Acute appendicitis, most common acute surgical condition. Acute appendicitis may occur at all ages. Etiology and pathogenesis: obstruction of the in the lumen, fecolith and hyperplasia of the submucosal lymphoid follicles and intestinal worms, and in the wall stricture due to the fibrosis from earlier inflammation outside of the wall. Adhesions and kinks are common due to the diet. Diet plays an important role in producing appendicitis. Diet with fish and meat is prone for the appendicitis. Social status: diseases of aristocratic families. And fourth is a familial susceptibility. In certain families, this disease is more often seen due to the peculiar position of the organ which predisposes to infection. Some episodes of acute appendicitis apparently subside spontaneously before they reach the acute stage. This is the subacute appendicitis. If a full-blown appendicitis does not ensue, the appendix may turn into a glumulus, precipitating recurrent attacks. This is known as the recurrent appendicitis. These attacks are usually milder. Sometimes pathological examination of the appendix may reveal thickening up and scarring, suggesting old healed acute inflammation. This is chronic appendicitis. Now the clinical features of the appendicitis are pain, nausea, anorexia. These are the common symptoms. Pain presents in all the patients with appendicitis. Nausea present in 9 out of 10 patients. Vomiting is variable. There is a Murphy's triad: pain, vomiting and temperature. This is the Murphy's triad. This is the main symptoms in the appendicitis, and then anorexia. Now the physical examination. Palpation. On the palpation, systemic gentle palpation will detect an area of maximum tenderness that corresponds to the position of the appendix at or near McBurney's point. Muscle guarding or resistance to palpation roughly to the severity of the inflammatory process. Cutaneous hyperesthesia found over Sharon triangle formed by anterior superior iliac spine, the symphysis pubis and the umbilicus. Rebound tenderness. The classical methods of demonstrating peritoneal inflammation is rebound tenderness. The gentle pressure is exerted on the inflamed area and sudden release of hand will cause extreme pain of the patient at the inflamed area. Now the next physical examination is Rosing sign. Pain in right lower quadrant is complaint of when palpation pressure is exerted in the left lower quadrant, that is the referred rebound tenderness. Now the Swash sign. Patient lies on his left side, then slowly extend the patient's right thigh, thus stretching the iliopsoas muscles will produce pain to main sign positive. Indicates presence of irritative inflamed appendix is close proximity to the psoas muscles possible in retrocecal appendix. Next test is physical examination is obturator test. Passive internal rotation of flexed right thigh with the patient in supine position will elicit the pain. Test is positive for pelvic appendix. The test is positive when there is a pelvic appendicitis, due to the fact that inflamed appendix is in the contact with obturator internus muscle. That's why there is a pain exaggerated and obturator test is becomes positive in pelvic positional appendicitis or appendix. Percussion test. Light percussion on McBurney's point increase pain in early appendicitis because there is a local peritonitis. Auscultation. On auscultation, no bowel movements in right iliac fossa. There is a paralytic ileus for some period. Now the rectal examination. Purpose of rectal examination in appendicitis are to exclude any pelvic lesion in females, to elicit tenderness in pelvic appendicitis. Should be performed in every patient suspected of suffering from appendicitis. It must be remembered that the diagnosis of acute appendicitis is essential clinical. It is better to remove a normal appendix than to delay diagnosis and end up with complication. It is always better, but one must be very rational to avoid removal of normal appendix also. Always remember this, students. Now the next one is the Alvarado score, which is based on the clinical and laboratory based scoring system. Symptoms and score. Anorexia scores 1 point, nausea and vomiting scores 1 point, migratory right iliac fossa pain scores 1 point, signs raised temperature scores 1 point, tenderness in right iliac fossa scores 1 point, rebound tenderness scores 2 point, and on the test the leukocytosis WBC count is increased, then it scores for 2. Shift to left segmented neutrophils score 1 point. total 10 points, and score if more than 7, then it is the acute appendicitis and immediate operation required. And if score is equal to 5 to 6 or on the borderline cases where further investigation is required to establish the appendicitis. Now the investigation in the appendicitis are: blood reveal moderate leukocytosis ranging 10,000 to 18,000 per cubic millimeter, serum electrolytes and renal function test. Urine examination, increased specific gravity due to dehydration to exclude right ureteric calculi by presence of crystals in urine. Third investigation in appendicitis are X-ray examination, no pathognomonic sign of appendicitis in X-ray examination. Plain film may show a phycolith at the appendicular region. Barium enema examination obviously unnecessary if diagnosis is clear. Reveals non-filling or partial filling of the appendix. Chest X-ray to exclude any disease of base of the right lung, as disease in this area may irritate the spinal nerve to stimulate the symptoms of the appendicitis. Ultrasonography, which is the compulsory nowadays. CT scan to detect the appendicular mass, appendicular abscess or pelvic abscess. Now the complication of the appendicitis are appendicular rupture, appendicular mass, that is called as a phlegm, appendicular abscess, omentum and coils of the small intestine cover the inflamed appendix to secure it, suppurative phlebitis, pilophlebitis, ascending septic thrombophlebitis of the portal venous system. Pylothrombophlebitis is a grave but rare complication of gangrenous appendicitis. Septic clots from the involved mesenteric veins produce multiple pyogenic abscesses in the liver. It is heralded by chills, spiking fever and right upper quadrant pain and jaundice. All these symptoms are the herald of the suppurative pilophlebitis. Differential diagnosis of acute appendicitis. Acute appendicitis will differentiate with the abdominal causes like acute cholecystitis, perforated peptic ulcer, cyclical vomiting, enterocolitis, non-specific mesenteric lymphadenitis, intestinal obstruction, Crohn's disease, carcinoma of the cecum, amoebic colitis, Meckel's diverticulitis, acute pancreatitis, mesenteric vascular occlusion. Second is the gynecological disorders like salpingitis, ectopic gestation, ruptured ovarian follicle, that is the Mittelsmith, twisted ovarian cyst. Third is the retroperitoneal causes are right ureteric colic, torsion of the testes, right acute pyelonephritis, hematoma in retroperitoneal tissues, and fourth thoracic disease, basal pneumonia and pleurisy. Other causes like Henoch Schönlein, purpura, porphyria, diabetic abdomen. Treatment: immediate appendicectomy is the treatment of choice. Operation incision. There are multiple incision is to be taken for appendicectomy like McBurney's gridiron incision, lateral 1/3 and medial 2/3, that is the perpendicular to spino-umbilical line. Skin, the layers of this incision are skin, fascia of Camper, fascia of Scarpa, then external oblique aponeurosis muscle, the internal oblique aponeurosis, then internal oblique transversus abdominis, and then peritoneum and the appendix. And second incision is the lance transverse incision 2 to 3 cm below the umbilicus and is centered on mid clavicular and mid inguinal line. Third incision in the operation of the appendix are paramedian incision, which is vertical incision 2.5 cm below the umbilicus. Fourth incision in the appendicectomy are Rutherford Morrison incision, similar to McBurney's incision, but it is a muscle cutting, that is the external aponeurosis and internal oblique and transverse abdominis are cut instead of splitting. Drawbacks of this Rutherford Morrison incision in the appendicectomies are subsequent hernia due to nerve injury, that is the wound infection and wound dehiscence. Fifth incision is the Battle's pararectal incision. Technique of operation is there are 3 stages of appendicectomy. One is the isolation of the appendix, division of the mesoappendix, and third is the removal of the appendix and purse string or figure of N is taken on the base of the appendix. Treatment of the appendicular masses, that is the phlegm. Conservative treatment, Onster-Scheren regimen should be started immediately. Includes IV fluids, Rayleigh tube aspiration, nil by mouth, antibiotics, input-output chart, urine output chart, charting should be maintained. Now the complications of the appendicectomy are wound infection, pelvic subphrenic or intra-abdominal abscess, fecal fistula. If ligature slips from a tide, these fistulas usually close spontaneously. Pilophlebitis or portal pyemia, retrograde infections. Due to the retrograde infection, intestinal obstruction, right inguinal hernia due to the injury to iliohypogastric nerve. Now, the last point of this lecture is neoplasm of the appendix. Neoplasm of the appendix are extremely uncommon. Malignant tumors, that is the carcinoid tumor, adenocarcinoma, malignant mucosal. First is the carcinoid. About 40% of all carcinoid tumors of GI tract have been reported to be found in appendix. But true incidence is more, as majority of these tumors are without symptoms. Carcinoid of the appendix are typically small, firm, yellowish, brown brown tumors. Treatment is appendectomy with excision of the mesoappendix. Second neoplasm is the adenocarcinoma. By all means, this is similar to colonic adenocarcinoma. Treatment is the right hemicolectomy. Third neoplasm of the appendix is the malignant mucosal. Benign mucosal may occur in the process of acute appendix. Malignant mucosal is a mucous papillary adenocarcinoma grade 1. The treatment is the simple appendicectomy. Dear students, you can see the carcinoid tumors of the appendix, the image showing. This second image is showing the adenocarcinoma of the appendix clearly, and this third image is showing the malignant mucosal of the appendix. Dear students, to clear the concepts about the vermiform appendix, you can watch the videos on the YouTube to clear the concepts regarding these points. And here is the end of our surgery lecture number 27. Thank you.